the opportunity for a Hollywood finish will take the 250.
Phoenix, there they go, down to the bottom, 4, 5 wide. Let's see if they can all keep it together. But Jacob Barker gets...
Remember last year when they ran the Weenie 500, they streamed it on YouTube, on their YouTube channel? Mm-hmm. They're bringing it to TV this year.
Good evening, everyone. This is your host, John Miles, talking here in the booth for what could be the last time you hear my voice before the always wonderful voice of Jackson Lambrose takes things back over. But tonight, we have FR Racing's Garage Talk Grand Prix presented by Scene Media Productions here at St. Petersburg Grand Prix, located here just locally in St. Pete, Florida. Should be a great race for all of you to watch, as it is our only road course of the season. So get ready for some lefts, but also some right-hand turns on this street course. While we're here, we'll go ahead and take a little look at this track info for St. Pete, the configuration. It's located in St. Petersburg, Florida, as I mentioned earlier. It opened in 2003, but the configuration that we do run today is the 2017 configuration. 1.8 miles. Session rules, 45-minute open qualification, which we have about 4 minutes left of that before this 30-lap race. Important to note, there are no full course yellows, with this being our road course. It has a little bit special rules package. If you didn't catch it, go ahead and tune in to yesterday's broadcast, where the IndyCar series took to the streets of St. Pete. So this rounds up our double header for the week. Other things to note for this race as we get going is taking a look while we pull those rules back up for you all. Some penalties going into tonight. Harrison Santos and Tyler Vickery will serve an end-of-line penalty, so they'll be starting from the rear due to a failed appeal/protest. But pretty much they'll be starting from the very back of the field. They submitted a protest about their finishing position, and that is the reason why they have to start in the back, is because that appeal failed. So unfortunately, those two will be starting in the back of the race, but expect Vickery to be pretty quick, as he tends to be pretty fast when we turn right as well. Other important things to note, since this is the first trip to St. Pete, here's some historical stats for the overall truck series. This is the 4th road/street race that we've done in the trucks. We did that in COTA 2022, Sonoma 24, and Lime Rock Park in 2025. Hunter Hughes, who's in the field tonight, leads with 2 poles and 2 wins, both of those at Sonoma and Lime Rock, with Richard Hurst, who won in the first truck race at COTA here in 2022. Going a little off of what I mentioned earlier, last week's controversial finish was due to iRacing's calculating post-race penalties. Tyler Vickery was assessed a black flag drive-through on the final lap, which resulted in the 13x incident count after collision with Jacob Barker, which ultimately triggered the larger wreck. Tyler was given a 1 lap and a 5-second penalty post-race for not serving the drive-through during the race, which is why Jacob Barker was scored as the race winner. So if that clears up any confusion about the finishing results from last race, I hope that helps. Harrison Santos, I mentioned earlier, was also given a 1 lap, 5-second penalty post-race for a similar issue for not serving a 13x drive-through penalty. Like I mentioned, both drivers attempted to appeal the penalty, but the appeals were denied by the competition committee due to confirmation that the penalties were applied correctly, and so both of those drivers will be starting from the end of the line. As we have about a minute 40 left, we'll go ahead and pull up the standings as they sit to see where these drivers are on their qualifying attempts. If we pull that vertical ticker on up there she goes. Right now, Ian Miller leads with a 1:17. Not too much farther behind me is the one of Tyler Cheney, and then third is Hunter Hughes in the 18. Expect those three to be the class of the field when it comes to this road course style racing. Typically, they seem to be pretty on top of it when it comes to turning right. As we'll take a quick look at those driver standings before we get going. After one race so far, Jacob Barker, who won last week, leads with 41 points. Jack Smalen in second, 36. Jarnigan in third. DJ Fluck fourth. Nick Warboy is actually tied with DJ Fluck for that fourth position. Bill Molefield sixth, tied with Lane for sixth. Tyler Cheney eighth. Dawson Buchanan ninth, and Mark Vickers rounds out your top 10. And the rest, as you can see, are scored there as well. Taking a look at those team standings to follow that up. JM Motorsports currently leads with 67 points, followed by FR Racing in 66, Blue Ridge Racing, SMR, Team Extreme, and Appalachian Mountain Autosport to round out the rest of the field. Important to note, though, only one race in the season, so a lot can change, and expect a lot to change, especially as there's road course ringers shine their true colors before this race gets going. We head to Texas next week, and then following that, we'll be heading at the Super Speedway of Daytona. I'll flash the schedule a little bit later in tonight's race, but that can also, both those two races, both the first mile and a half, but also especially Daytona, expect a lot of wrecks with a lot of pushing, so that could also shake up the point standings. After talking with some drivers, some of them prefer getting these kind of wild card races out early, while others kind of like to lean on it towards the end of the season. So it'll be a lot easier to see how each of these driver styles play out after this first probably 4 or 5 weeks, but we'll have to see what kind of shakeups can occur both at the road course as well as the super speedway later this schedule. As the drivers are wrapping up qualifying, you can see the checkered flag is on display, so that allows drivers to complete the lap they are on, but in a minute they will be kicked regardless, and we'll try to see if we can't grab the pole sitter, which I do believe is Ian Miller, as it states right now, unless somebody pulls out a fast lap. As you can see, the rest of the field as it rounds out. Ian Miller, a regular when it comes to road course racing, especially has made his mark on the road course side of things on the IndyCar, in the IndyCar League that happens on Tuesdays. So expect him to have a lot of laps on this track between yesterday and today. Expect him to be pretty quick. Hunter Hughes, similar story. He's been running a lot of IndyCar lately. Expect the 18 also to have a solid run here tonight. I've had a couple people request it, so we're going to go ahead and see if we can't get it pulled up for tonight's race, but we are going to be enabling the chat feed. Should be pulled up there in the top right corner. Like I mentioned, there are some people that definitely wanted to have it, so we'll definitely make sure to have it pulled up for tonight's race. As the race is about to kick off, we'll see if we can grab the pole sitter and see if he wants to give us a little chat. Ian Miller, this is John Miles in the booth. You got me?
Hello, hello.
Well,
Yes, I do.
A lot of laps logged so far between the last 48 hours. You are starting on pole for this one. The trucks definitely don't drive the same way as the Indy cars do, but tell me, what can you take from yesterday's race to hope to translate to today?
You know, I'm open to safe tires. I mean, tire wear out here is insane. You know, I think if I can keep the car clean and take care of the tires, hopefully that'll pay off in the end.
Leading from pole, I know turn one might be a little sketchy, especially when you look at that the entire field is starting behind you. What's kind of the strategy? How aggressive are you going to be going into this first corner?
I don't know who else is listening to this, so I'll say I'll be going an amount of aggression. There will be some between 0 and all of it.
Between 0 and all of it, hopefully you can repeat what you accomplished yesterday. We'll see you hopefully at the end of the race.
Yeah, hopefully we can pull the double.
That was Ian Miller, who is starting on pole. Like he mentioned, trying to pull the double here. See if he can't get it figured out. As the cars are just now getting rolling. Long way to pace around this track. We'll go ahead, if we can't, get a look at all of the drivers here tonight. Starting on pole, we do have Ian Miller. Starting in first place. Going from there, Tyler Cheney in the number 1, starting in second. Third, Hunter Hughes in the 18. All these guys are rocking a lot of Red Bull cars, so take a look at all those different Red Bull colors as we go through the field. Starting in the number 60 is Chad Winstead, 82, Tyler Rouse, 40 car, Colton Gardner, Jax Mellon in the 9, Mark Vickers in the 84, starting 8th, Ryan Tripp in the 77, starting 9th, Dawson Buchanan starting 10th, behind him teammate Matt Faust in the 89, Warboy starting 12th, Christopher Fuge in the 49 starting 13th, Garrett Jarnigan starting 14th, see all those different Red Bull colors as we flash through the field. Jacob Barker is another Red Bull car in the number 2, Lane Stone the number 5, Wesley Fuge in the 68, Connor Fuge in the 19, Bill Mulfield in the 911 car, Eric Richardson in the 80, JP Jones 21, Mountain Dew car is Brian McKinney this week, Tyler Lugo Vickery serving that penalty will be starting from the tail end of the field, DJ Flux starting 24th in the 88, Robert Lewis 25th, and then Harrison Santos 26th. Quite the field tonight as we get this thing rolling. We'll have to see what these drivers have in store for us since we are rolling. The green flag is out. Right on time. As we take a look into the first corner, it does look like Ian Miller is going to be able to get himself cleared. The one car blinking just a little bit, but behind them just a little bit farther. Great battle right now between the 18 and the 60. As the 18 does get it figured out. Scroll through the field, we'll see if there's any other tight battles. You can see there's how there's not a lot of room for error on these street course races. Typically at a road course, you might see a little more give and take, especially with how there's a very aggressive move back there by the 89. Matt Faust is by the 2. But on a regular road course, you can kind of drive away from the rest of the field. Not only that, but if you make a little error, there's some grass, typically there's some gravel you can run off into, but at a track like this, it's all concrete walls that surround you, so not a lot of room for error as the 48 blows the first corner. As I mentioned that, moved Tyler Cheney to the lead. There's no way to safely rejoin on the track in that spot that Ian Miller is in, so we've got to pull a full 180 and get this thing turned around. But as you can see, that has dropped him to the very back of the field as he now sits in 26th. As the rest of these drivers try to get it figured out, we'll have to see where they go off. A little replay, it says DJ Fluck might have crashed. Nope, he also blew the corner right there. Unfortunate. Back to Tyler Cheney's back on the lead lap. A lot of stuff going on right now as drivers try to get their car figured out. He was the race leader, but now he's a little off track, that being Ian Miller in the 48, but something he did mention is tire wear. With less room for air, those tires can really burn up, and you can be left with a pretty loose race car, pretty tight race car, depending on how you drive this thing by the end of the race. We're only 2 laps in of the 30-lap race. As Hunter Hughes brushes the side right there in the Red Bull 18. It's important to know there should not be any pit stops unless you need to for damage. The driver should go make on fuel. Back a little bit farther, Colton Gardner in the 40 has made it up to 5th, with right behind him Jax Mellon in the 9 has made it to 6th. Right now he's getting looked at by the 84. We'll have to see what kind of pass can be made right here. How aggressive does the 84 be on corner entry? Does he wash up a little bit? He does not. The 9 does let him go, but now the 4 is right on his bumper. A lot of great battles so far throughout the field. As the cars start to get separated out, the leader has pulled away by about 7/10 right now as it sits, with Hunter Hughes having his back bumper just beat off by Chad Winstead there. You can see right there, Tyler Cheney does get a little tank slapper right there. It's very easy to do coming out of that fast right-hander. A lot of corners on this track, not a lot of room for error. There is speed on those curbs. You can see they jump that curb. Both the 1 and the 18 have been very good all throughout practice as well, getting the most out of the trucks. It's important to note though, if you hit those curbs just wrong, that is a recipe to spin out. But if you want to be the fastest on track, you have to do it that way. This 4 Toyotas is your top 4 right now, with the first non-Toyota being, I believe, the 84 of Mark Vickers. Or no, it would be the 40, I'm sorry, of Colton Gardner right now, being the first Ram, with the 9 of Jax Mellon being the first Chevrolet. I don't know if we have any Fords left after all the Fords kind of semi-retired, with Smoky Mountain Racing switching over to Ram. So most of these cars are pretty spread out. Right now Ian Miller is still trying to recover as he is sitting 20th right now. Close battle right now between the 19. It's really our closest battle right now, the 19 of Connor Feuds, trying to get by the 911 of Bill Molefield. A lot of Red Bull colors tonight. It's cool to see that sponsorship activation with all these different drivers running different paint schemes. Chad Winstead still very close to the back bumper of Hunter Hughes. And never mind, there must have been quite a mistake as Hunter Hughes has fallen way out of the pack. Let's see what happened to him. See if we can't get a different camera angle on that so we can see something what happened. Let's take a look what happened. Just locks him up. Like I said, there's nowhere to go in this tight little area, so you just have to reverse and just slowly get back on track as he does make contact with the wall there. You have to wonder what kind of damage he might be sitting in, as he does rejoin, currently sitting in 13th. The lane snow is right in front of him, or right behind him, I'm sorry. As we go back to the leaders, this has allowed Tyler Cheney to clear by about 2 seconds, with a huge gap between 2nd and 3rd, as Tyler Rouse still has about 3 seconds before he even looks at Chad Winstead right now. We very well could see a battle of attrition tonight, as these cars try to just survive those concrete walls and those tight corners. As Tyler Vickery, who did start in the tail end of the field, has moved his way up to 10th. Now trying to get a little bit more out of the car. 5 laps and it has gained 15 positions. Pretty good odds, but the farther you get up here, the harder it's going to be to pass. So we'll have to see what kind of momentum he can keep rolling. throughout the rest of this field. As right now he's making a look on the 4 car. We'll have to see how aggressive he gets. Uses the bumper there. Gives him a little shove. The 4 holds on to it for the time being. He's already making a peek to the inside. We'll have to see if the 4 still cuts down to that low line, or if there's an aggressive move. There is an aggressive move. It's 24. Now to the outside of the 4. Appears the 4 did let him go. Not quite worth trying to mess with that much aggression and risking your chance at a decent finish. As now the 4 has lost more time. Is a little bit farther back. Jacob Barker than a 2. Has about looped it. It's actually in front of a 32. Just about looped it, but this does allow the 4 car to get back by ahead of him. It is an absolute traffic jam right now between these cars. As you can see, all those red rules fighting for the best colors. That right there, that purple one, is Hunter Hughes as he tries to get back up to where he believes he belongs. Tough battles throughout the track right now. Right now there looks like a pass going on right now as Mark Vickers is trying to get by Colton Gardner. See if he can make this move stick, but for now he just tucks back in line behind that First Form Energy, number 40. Great racing so far. Chad Winstead has dropped it to about a second. Between the last 2 laps, he's caught up to Tyler Cheney by about a complete second so far as that gap continues to shrink. Are these tires starting to wear already, or is Tyler Cheney just saving and Chad Winstead just burning them up? Mark Vickers still trying to get around Colton Gardner here, while a little farther back, less than a second as well. Matt Faust is trying to get around Tyler Lugo Vickery, but I believe Vickery did make a pass on the 89, move the 24 up to 8th. Back up towards the front. The pass is complete by the 84. Move him to the 4th position. Matt Faust isn't quite going away yet, as he does still have about half a second right now, but Vickery is known for his road course prowess. We'll have to see if he can continue to make his way forward throughout the field. There's a big drop throughout the field. Not quite sure what happened there. My screen flashed all sorts of red. Don't believe anybody wrecked, but no, we're looking good. Scratch that. Hunter Hughes has moved his way back up to 11th. And so right now he's making a move on the 4 car. It's the same corner that kind of messed him up the first time around, which has caused that traffic jam with the 4. Now the 2 is right on the 4's bumper. The 4 making an early move to the inside. Gonna let them go. A little bit of tire smoke there. I'm sure he wasn't exactly fond of the over-aggressive right to his back bumper, but now he's got bigger problems. Can't be worried about the 2 because right now the 32 is right in his rear view. These cars haven't quite spread out the way I thought they would. Really just battle for the top 10, for the 10th position, I should say, to battle into the top 10. Everyone outside the top 10 has kind of stayed relatively close together in a similar gap. Meanwhile, the rest of these guys are still battling out, slinging it out, seeing who can get this thing rolling. Ryan Tripp, unfortunately, had kind of a rough restart the first 2 laps. He got stuff sorted out as he has fallen back now to 7th place, I believe starting 3rd. We'll have to see if he can rebound and chase back down to 9. I mentioned earlier, but we're going to go ahead and take a look right now as there's a huge lap traffic to deal with right there. We're going to have a Fox moment, although it is a close battle for the lead. We're going to take a quick look at that Wednesday Night Dash schedule there in the bottom right corner of your screen. Right now, you can see we are at St. Pete, with next week heading to Texas before, like I mentioned, the Daytona. What could be Daytona Madness. New Hampshire, short track racing should be a lot of fun with Homestead, Miami at night. Just recently ran Homestead for a charity race for the Greg Biffle Foundation. If you missed that, make sure to check that broadcast out. Full-length race, 400 miles at Homestead, Miami. Quite the workout for myself, to say the least, to do that entire broadcast, but a whole lot of fun for a great cause. Happy to see it all turn out pretty solid. Then we head to Rockingham, followed by Auto Club, Iowa, and then my personal favorite, but I might be a little biased, championship race at Kansas Speedway. As right now, Chad Winstead is not letting Tyler Cheney breathe whatsoever. Keeping that battle pretty close on track. Keep him honest. Ryan Tripp, it appears, does get by the 9 car. Vickery has moved all the way up to 6th. Just getting by Ryan Tripp not too long ago. Take a quick look at the Indy Racing World Series as well. As I mentioned, we've already very much through the schedule. A little over halfway now, with Long Beach wrapping up yesterday. Las Vegas happened, or will happen next week, followed by Indy. Indy was replaced by St. Pete. Sorry, we're at the very end of the schedule. Indy Road Course was replaced by St. Pete, so we'll be racing at the home track of Indianapolis Motor Speedway here next week, with the finale at Michigan. Should be a pretty good one. Michigan's a fun track. Also might be a little biased there as well. Got my win there in the Indy World Series there at Michigan, so might try to make a return, see if I can't defend the title, but we'll have to see. Great battle right now within the points as well for the Indy Racing World Series, so we'll have to see how all that shapes out. Quickly, we'll go through the GT Sprint Series event schedule as well. Don't have anything for a while, next thing being in June at Watkins Glen, but you can see the rest of the schedule there until the end of the year, so very spread out, but all that stuff is completely free to join. If you're watching tonight, you can join this with no entry fee, just to practice some road course racing. A whole lot of fun to meet some of the guys as well. If you have any interest in that, go to just message at Stadium Sim on Instagram, and they can get you hooked up. My bread and butter, the Bottom Split Racing Series, BSRS, kind of coming to the end of this season as well, as we just wrapped up Rockingham, so we're heading to Iowa on May 4th. So that is just around the corner. It'll be next Monday. And then we'll wrap stuff up at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the end of Season 2. The guy to watch right there for that season for the Bottom Split Racing Series is the car. Not sure where he is right now. There he is in 11th as he is on pit road. Kind of might have just jinxed him, but the 32 of Garrett Jarnigan is right now the one to watch when it comes to that series. Hunter Hughes also on pit road. We'll see if we can't figure out what happened while I was yapping away. Let's see. Let's see if I catch it. Might have just been a scoring loop error, because it looks like he's fine. Couple cars way off track. It looks like the 4 of Dawson Buchanan has fallen all the way back to 20th. Road courses definitely never been his strong suit, but he seems to be just struggling with the balance of that car. As you can see, he's loose right there on exit. Top 8's kind of settled out for the time being. Hunter Hughes still tracking down Jax Malin in the number 9 right now. He's got about 4 seconds to get that done, to catch up to the 9 car. With some lap traffic there behind them, as you can see. Our current points leader being Jacob Barker, currently sitting in the 12th position. A couple cars have started to go a lap down. The first one being the 49 of Chris Fuge, but expect a couple more guys to be lapped by the time this thing is over, as we're just not even halfway over yet. As Cheney in the front has pulled away by about 2 seconds here. The 82 of Tyler Rouse, rookie this season. Welcome, welcome, welcome. but he is 6 seconds behind Chad Winstead, comfortably in third. Mark Vickers has found a lot of speed these last couple of laps. He continues to wind these things out. Right now sitting about a little under 3 seconds to third place, but has pulled away by Colton Gardner by about 5 seconds. Colton Gardner's going to have Tyler Lugo victory right on his tail here in a bit, so you'll have to keep an eye on that. We'll have to see how well he can manage that gap. As it's down to 1 second right now, you can see how aggressive the 24 is on those curves as the truck gets absolutely sideways. It's pretty much on just those left side tires. Ian Miller in 10th after blowing the first lap and having to just turn that whole entire car around. He's now trying to fight back for a manageable finishing position. A lot of laps left though, very, very possible. You'd have to imagine the tires just might have smoked him a little bit, locking him up going to that corner. Similar story for Hunter Hughes there in the 18. Be interesting to see how well he manages those worn tires, as well as now he has the 9 car right in his view. As the 18 makes a very aggressive move. Here's the 9, just let him go. Not worth the struggle. Not worth wrecking a race car and getting a worse finish. As a team owner of JM Motorsports, something that I told all of my guys, both the 5, the 9, the 89, and the 4, I kind of told them, hey look, we're not road course racers, let's get out of here with a clean finish. It's a strategy that a lot of guys are using throughout this race tonight, just survive. Very early in the race still, as we come up on halfway this next time by. Very manageable to get a top 10 finish, even top 15 finish, if you just keep all 4 wheels on the track. Don't make any mistakes. Just, you can be 2 seconds slower a lap than the leader, but just, like I said, keep that truck in one piece, and you should manage a solid finish that you can build off of for the rest of the season. Take a look, close battle right now between the 40 and the 24 as the 40 blows that corner, gets a little sideways, allowing the 24 to get by. Move the 24 up to 5th. Definitely has something to prove, as you can see that aggression level has turned that wick up quite a bit. As right now Chad Winstead in the 60s, cut this thing to under a second. Made a mistake earlier in the run, which cost him about all that time he had originally, so we'll have to see how well he can hang on to it. Taking a look at the rest of the field, it looks like the 23 is off track, the 88 is off track, the 28 of Harrison Santos is off track, and then JP Jones in the 21 is right now in 24th. He's your last car on track, 3 laps down. The 80 of Eric Richardson. If we do take a quick little FR Racing update. They were nice enough to sponsor the race, the FR Racing Garage Talk podcast. Your host there, Eric Richardson, sitting in 20th right now. And as I mentioned, the 80 of DJ Flex is off track. But the rest of FR Racing, the 33 of Nick Warboy, currently sitting in 17th, with the last one on the team, Ian Miller, in 48. Right now is rebounded back to 8th place. Battle for the lead's getting a little bit closer, is now about half a second. You can see big trouble right now for the leader as he comes up on lap traffic, that being the 4 and the 8 car both. We'll have to see how well he can get by these cars. I believe the 4 and the 8, yes, the 4 and the 8 are battling for position right now. Keep that in mind as the 4 does go by. It's going to allow the 1 to try to make a move on the 8. Gives him a little shot. You have to imagine that urgency level is pretty high. as now it looks like the 60's there. We'll have to see, when does he make a move? Hits the curbing just a little bit, which doesn't allow him to use that bumper. You have to imagine that bumper of the number 60 car might be in use, especially in one of these slower corners. A lot of pressure is being applied here. It's easy to make a mistake whenever someone's just pounding on your back end for that long. We saw several drivers, including the 18 of Hunter Hughes and the 48 of Emil, make similar mistakes, but the pressure was applied. We'll have to see how well the one handles it. As well, it's important to mention, although not good on road courses, he does have a season champ in the 4 ahead of him. How much room does the 4 give him? How much of a battle does he put up? All these things will be pretty interesting to see, as I'm sure he'll get to him within this lap or the next one. Looks like the 9 car is elected to pit. Said he pit. He's falling back to 16th. We'll see if we can get a replay. He did pit. Not sure if he had any damage. Car looks clean. Have to assume it's clean. He might just not have been liking the bounce of that car. Seeing what positions he can make up with brand new tires, I suppose. Would have lost about 8 positions in that exchange, but like I said, it does have fresh tires now. Is that a strategy we see out of a lot of guys? We'll have to wait and see. That gap between the leader has increased by about 1.2, but Cheney is now hounding on the 4 car. That gap has definitely decreased. We're going to go ahead and go on board with your leader this next time by for the iRacing Turn It Up segment. And we'll just see what he's dealing with as we cycle through the field. As promised, your Turn It Up segment presented by Showtime Esports. And that was your Turn It Up segment presented by Showtime Esports. As you can see, Four eventually lost that battle as he did get past. Now the number 1 of Tyler Cheney has taken the lead. We'll go ahead and go back through the field. Let's see what other battles are going on throughout the track. Ian Miller has made his way back up to 7th place with Tyler Lugo Vickery, teammate of Tyler Cheney. All 3 Tylers on the same team. The 24 car has moved his way back to the top 5. 9 laps to go next time by, so still plenty of time to maybe sneak into the top 3 with those cars in front of him. Definitely have had some speed throughout this race. To get that top 3 position, he's going to need about 16 seconds until 3rd place. So definitely not impossible, but still a lot of cars to make up. Great run here out of the 40 group, with Colton Gardner typically being one of those oval guys, oval expertise, but Smoky Mountain Racing's put in a lot of off-season prep to get ready, from what I've been told. So I'm sure it's gratifying to see all the success they've now found when we have to turn right. Another Smoky Mountain driver there in the 32, Garrett Jarnigan. Just behind him is an affiliate team as well with BRR. They're of Jacob Barker, last week's winner. A little bit of nose damage. You can see that ram is not quite spelled as right as it normally is. As you can see, there's definitely a crinkle there. We'll have to see if that car behind him, the 89, can do anything about that. A little bit farther back, there's the tire strategist himself, coming in to get new tires, see if it pays off. He has moved his way up to 14th to break even, though he was 9th when he did come into the pit. So a lot of positions to make up here still. We'll have to see if it does end up being the call. A lot of mistakes could still happen, but he does have the freshest tires. Important to note. Also important to note, I'd be a bad friend if I didn't mention it. It's the number 9 driver's birthday, so wish Jackson a happy birthday. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. I was going to throw an embarrassing photo of him on the broadcast, but I want him to show up next week to race as well, so I probably won't. But happy birthday to the 9 group as well. We appreciate you being a part of Wednesday Night Dash, and especially appreciate you being a part of JM Motorsports here on the team. Back towards the front, the gap is about still 7 to 8 tenths. Lap traffic is definitely starting to play a role as the field has caught up to the back end of this thing, which would be the 33 of Nick Warboy. As I mentioned, Jack Smalin did come for tires, but he's about, I guess Lane Snow is 9 seconds, or less than 9 seconds. Lane Snow is 9 seconds to Jack's Malin. But the 5 right now is in a close battle for that last lead lap car between the 5 and the 33, before you can see as the 33 makes a dive to the inside. A little bit of bumper use there. We'll have to see. The 5 definitely isn't the most aggressive on the team, but it's definitely not the least aggressive, as he does get some side damage there on the right front. We'll have to see if he tries to pay the 33 back in any sort of way. Right now he's going to have bigger problems, as right now behind him those leaders are starting to come in. You can see Cheney there enters the picture. Big braking zone here, so if Lane Stone 5 is going to make a move to a private this corner. Appears he's pulling out of the way for these drivers. Slotted right in front of the 60. I'm sure the number 1 car appreciated that, as now there's a roadblock between the 60 and the 1. On track close battle right now between Robert Lewis, Matt Faust, and Jacob Barker. All these cars within a second of each other. We'll stay on this battle for now. See if anything interesting comes out of it. A little loose there on exit, as you can see that back end wants to wiggle out on all these cars. Jacob Barker's still struggling with that nose damage. You have to imagine that adds a lot of downforce in front of your truck, which kills your straight line speed, so expect that run out of the last corner from the start finish line will be a little rougher than most. Right now the 14 is beating on the back bumper of the 89. Have to see if he can get the pass done or how aggressive he goes into this giant braking zone coming up. Huge wreck there, as it looks like Jacob Barker, last week's winner, ends up hitting the wall. Not sure if he just locked him up. Let's see. Just, yeah, put a little too much wheel in it, got loose, spun it around. And that was that. About smoked his teammate there on exit, but ended up getting by it. Number 9 car as well getting by. You can see he's now on pit road to get that damage fixed. Fast repairs are still enabled, so those drivers still will have those fast repairs to get damage fixed. But right now, Jax Malin has moved now up to 13th, but he's still going to have a decent amount of work to get done. Because Robert Lewis is about 3 seconds ahead of him. And still about 7-8 tenths ahead of him is Matt Faust. So this battle's still going on. There's not a lot of battles ahead of that. As my screen just flashed like crazy. Not sure what went on right there, but I think all the drivers got it sorted. Yeah. Matt Faust, I was talking about earlier, just 12 seconds between him and the car ahead of him in 10th place, Garrett Jarnigan. All the rest of these cars have kind of sold out, with Hunter Hughes in 9th, and the whole 8 seconds ahead of him is Ian Miller. Like I mentioned, hats off to Colton Gardner. He sits 3 seconds right now, about 4 seconds ahead of the 77 of Ryan Tripp. But that has done an excellent job of getting what points they can out of a road course race and hoping to carry that momentum when we go to Texas. Chad Winstead, a familiar name if you've been with us for a super long time, but retired for a bit and came out of retirement just recently, but retired for a bit. Not running a full schedule, but super fast, especially on those ovals, so get ready to watch him have quite a performance whenever we go back to just turn left. But like I said, just doing a part-time schedule this season, I believe with the AMA group, if I remember correctly. So expect to see him come back for a couple races later in the season, maybe most of them. But right now he still has a 3-second gap to Tyler Cheney. As the 80 just pulls out of the way for the one to go by. 4 laps to go. I'm sure a lot of people at home wonder, by the time this thing ends, if the E1 48 or the 18 Hunter Hughes had anything for Tyler Cheney, but unfortunately, operator error took them out of this race, and so all in all, a great rebound for those two drivers, with one of them sitting in 8th, the other one sitting in 9th, but what could have been will not happen tonight unless there's a big wreck that I don't see happening. With Hunter Hughes and Ian Miller both at least 35, then you can see Hunter Hughes there's 46 seconds to the leader. Jax Malin is about 6 tenths there. You can see maybe those new tires are starting to work in with 3 laps to go. Has caught the back end of Robert Lewis there, who is in the 12th position. Matt Faust just a second ahead of this battle. Good battle nonetheless. As the 4 has moved his way into the 15th position, but we're going to go back to this battle for now. This is the closest battle on track. How aggressive do these drivers get? I'm sure number 9 is starting to get a little impatient with those fresher tires. Does he use the bumper going into this long, wide corner? Isn't close enough. We'll have to see if he makes any dive bomb attempt to the inside. I don't think he's going to be close enough to even try it. 3 laps to go. Still the closest battle on track. We're going to take a quick peek, though. Just really quickly at Ian Miller there in the 48, who's just half a second from the 77 of Ryan Tripp. See if any sort of move is made. Tough corner, set of corners right here. I just want to see if he ends up sending it on this inside. Doesn't quite look like he's got the drive in that he needs. 77's going to stay clear for now. Back towards this battle. Still very, very tight. These cars are still fighting all over the track. You can imagine he's starting to get a little frustrated there in the 9 as he seems to be held up right now. I have to imagine that bumper might be coming anytime now. Got a little loose there on entry. So the aggression is starting to spill over. Right now, though, it's frustrating for the 14 of Braden Lewis because, man, you don't want to give up this spot as you've been fighting with the 89 for so long to clear him, and now your rear view mirror is absolutely full as the 89 locks up the tires a little bit. That makes the 14 check out. That's going to be the best run the 9 has as he sends it to the inside. Has to come out of the gas. This track is too tight to make that move work. Now makes a dive to the inside. Let's see if he gets this pass down here. Contact there. More. I cannot stress enough how hard this is to keep these cars side by side. A little bit of a shot there as 14 goes into the wall. That might have just killed his race. See, there's huge damage there on the 14. We're going to see if we can't get a replay of that incident and just take a look at the contact between him and the 9. So we are on the white flag. We'll try to make this quick for you all as soon as possible so we can get this fight. See, just no room for that first corner and just hard to go through there side by side. As we go back to the leader, Tyler Cheney's coming out of the last corner and will win here at St. Pete as he brings it to the start-finish line. Not entirely sure what happened there. The 14 might have let the 9 might have let the 14 go. Not entirely sure what happened there. As we'll watch the rest of these cars as they go by. Close battle right now to the line. E. Miller doesn't quite have enough to get it done. Doesn't look like there's any more close battles on track. There's one more coming out of the last corner as Garrett Jarnigan doesn't quite have enough ponies to get by Hunter Hughes. As the rest of these cars start to round these corners. Matt Faust, Robert Lewis, Jack Milne, and Lane Snow, the last ones on track. As Tyler Cheney will eventually make his way back around to good old burnout. The burnout underway. first win for Team Extreme. I'm sure Tyler Cheney's proud to carry the banner as the team owner for that team as well, but is the first one to get the win for that organization. 2 races in, brand new organization. I'm sure they are beyond happy to find themselves in victory lane. You see a teammate there coming to congratulate him there in the 82 of Tyler Rouse. Finishing 3rd, great showing overall for that team. As we take a look at those team standings, I'm sure this thing's going to update after this race for sure, but you can see their Team Extreme, all 3 of the Tylers, and then Ryan Tripp as well. Go ahead and get those results pulled up for you all so everyone can take a look at them really quickly. See there, Tyler Cheney coming home P1, Chad Winstead P2, Tyler Rouse rounds out the podium, Mark Vickers P4, Colton Gardner P5, Ryan Tripp P6, P7 Ian Miller, P8 Tyler Lugo Vickery, P9 Hunter Hughes, P10 Garrett Jarnigan. And then we'll scroll through the rest of the field. There's 11 through 20 there. And then 21 through 26. So go ahead.
You might have to move Chad in here.
Okay, sounds good. I'll grab him.
Chad's a general.
There he is. Alrighty, perfect. We will start with P3. Tyler, solid race out of you. There was some times, I'm sure, at the very start of the race, a little hectic to say the least, but found yourself keeping pace, staying pretty solid, ended up with a P3 finish. Great showing for your team overall. Talk to me a little bit about that. Talk to me about the team aspect that went into a race like tonight.
We just put a lot of practice, and I really don't consider. Oh, he just blew up. I really don't consider myself much of a road course guy, so I was just practicing a ton. Qualified P5, so I took it, and I kind of just knew if I didn't make many mistakes, I'd have a good finish. I blew turn, what is it, I think 7, but I was able to get back by Vickers and take 3rd place. So, like I said, I don't consider myself much of a road course guy, so I'll absolutely take it. But me, Cheney, Vickers, and Vickery, and Ryan Tripp, we all just ran probably like 200 laps of practice, so couldn't have done it without Cheney, and I'll take 3rd place.
A lot of practice, and I'm sure it paid off. I'm sure your whole team's happy with your position as well as you individually happy with the 3rd place. Is anyone you'd like to thank before we kick it off to 2nd?
I'd just like to shout out my sponsor, which is me, my YouTube channel. Go ahead and check that out. It's Burn Barrel Builds on youtube.com, as well as my transportation company, Viets Fleet. We operate in Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan.
Sounds good. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Yep, thank you.
And with that, we'll kick it over to P2, Chad Winstead. Now, normally that 60 group is known for their outright speed on the ovals, tend to dominate those a lot of times when you show up. But tonight we saw a different side of you as you took those right turns and really impressed us all here in the broadcast booth. Tell me, what did your prep look like coming into a weekend like this?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I downloaded the track right before the race, but I have a little bit of an advantage on some guys in here that I actually road course race in real life, so I'll take that as my practice for this race. But yeah, this was I watched some YouTube videos of the laps of people running trucks here, downloaded it, jumped in, got about maybe 10 minutes of practice in before they opened up qualifying, and was just able to find a good rhythm early on. And it's a these street courses are so tricky, so challenging usually, and to be sitting up here in P2, I can't really believe it. I guess I thought I was going to have a chance for the win there, battling Tyler there for so long, and I think I just overheated the tires, and he didn't make any mistakes, and I did, and that's what the difference was.
For those that don't know, you used to run in a Highline racing series, Highline Racing League. where it was almost randomized. You barely knew where you were racing before you started racing. Is there any of that transferred through to tonight's race, where you kind of just have to download a track and kind of go at it with maybe not a full notes page?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. Once you've ran in iRacing as long as we have in that group, you kind of have a good feel for all the cars, all the tracks, even for, a track like this. Obviously it's a little bit different. I mean, we ran the Chicago street course like that one time, and, having to jump in there and learn that right off the cuff was a challenge. So there's plenty of experience doing that, and I think that had a lot to do with tonight's success for sure.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to do this interview. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we kick it off to the winner?
Yeah, thank everybody for not killing each other into turn one tonight. I mean, there was a lot of cars going into to turn one, and I don't think there was any incidents. So shout out to everybody in this league. Everybody ran pretty good. Respectful out there. It was kind of fun sometimes dodging a little bit of the lap traffic when they were parked and whatnot. So shout out to everybody, doing a good job and being aware when they were backing up and rejoining the track. And shout out to you guys for putting this league on in the broadcast.
Yeah, we appreciate all the kind words, and with that, we'll kick it over to the winner of tonight's race, Tyler Cheney in the one car, getting the first win for Team Extreme. A lot of pressure coming to the road course. A lot of people had your name circled as one of the guys to beat tonight, just with your overall road course strength, both you, the 18, and the 48. But like Chad mentioned, you made 0 mistakes tonight. Tell me, what was your mindset when the pressure got hot, especially when Chad was chasing you down there with about 5 or 6 to go?
And when I had him on my rear bumper, I can't exactly pinpoint what I was thinking, but it was something along the lines of, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, something like that. Chad's a great racer, and I enjoy racing with him. I ran the Daytona 24 with him earlier this year, so I know the strengths he has on road courses, and to go out here and beat him like that just truly boost my confidence. I've never really considered myself a road course guy. I mean, even after the Mexico win last season, still never thought I would be able to come out here on a brand new racetrack, a street course, first time in the one truck here, first time for Team Extreme here, and go out there and do what I did. I mean, it was 19 seconds to third and then 8 seconds to Chad after battling him for almost 25 laps or so, pretty much the whole race. And it's insane. It's surreal. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the whole thing.
Chad mentioned a little bit earlier too, but talk to me a little bit about lap traffic. There were some cars that might have been easier to pass, some that were a little bit harder to pass. At what point did you have to almost be over aggressive to try to get by those guys, but also not burn up any tires? Were there any instances that you almost wish, or maybe you did go over the mic and say a couple words to try to get them to move out of the way?
So I actually never got over the mic. I was so focused on just driving the truck that I never found myself pressing the button to key up. So I was just kind of in my head praying that they would move, which most of the time they did. I think I got hung up behind Dawson a little bit there at one point, but that ended up working itself out. And there was another time I got hung up behind somebody. I don't even know who it was. I think it was JP or something. Somebody. Oh yeah, JP had spun out right in front of me, and that was a little bit of a heart attack. But as far as working through live traffic, for one, I didn't think I'd have to do that today. So that alone was a learn in the moment kind of deal. But I think I handled it all right, and I didn't get mad at anybody. I kind of just let everybody, either if they wanted to race me, they could race me. If they wanted to move my way, they could move my way. And at the end of the day, it ended up working out.
A great driver points day, and especially a great team points day for your entire team. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we end the broadcast for tonight?
Yeah, of course, all my supporters, Maconi Entertainment, Maconi Setup Shop, Chassis Tucker Realtor, of course, W being on the hood for this one. Glad to get them to victory lane. It's the first time I've gotten them there. My dad, my mom, everybody over at Team Extreme. There's Brandon, the team owner, who doesn't race, but he watches each and every week. So shout out to him for putting this great team together. Shout out to my teammates Ty, Tyler, and Tripp. All around a great success for the team this week, and just super stoked to be here.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us here in the broadcast booth. But with that, we will end tonight's broadcast for your race here at St. Pete. We appreciate everyone that watched tonight through the entire through all the lefts and through all the rights. But we make sure to tune back in next week as we head to Texas Motor Speedway, and your regular broadcast booth will be here with Jackson Lambro should be making his return. But with that, this has been John Miles here in the broadcast booth. You all have a great rest of your Wednesday night.